Welcome, everybody, to Chief and the Machine Podcast, Episode 3.
Welcome back, everybody. Awesome.
And who do we have with us today,
Mr. Ross Boss, or his name is Ross George, a.k.a. Ross Boss, everyone.
That's what they call me.
Good friend of ours.
Happy to be here. I'm really excited. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Also lives here down in San Antonio. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Ross.
Thank you.
So
big
he's
fan.
here. He's here for moral support. He's here for aesthetics. He's cosmetic as also.
And he's our first official guest on our podcast.
He is.
Super awesome to be here.
Welcome.
Super awesome to be here again. I just got to start off and say real quick that, being a fan of YouTubers that create content, being on the other side of the stage per se, to actually be here and sit in this thing. And, I always wondered what the headphones were for. I didn't know that I'd actually hear my own voice.
Yeah.
But to actually be here and be in this whole thing, I'm truly grateful. Thank you so much for having me.
No worries, brother.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is interesting. I was putting this together and I was like, I think we need headphones. And we did the first cast before Chief and I did our cast with a group, and we had these cheesy little headphones, and I was like, you know what, I need something like uniform, everybody can get the same sound, and we have like a headphone breaker right here, so we've got all the same headphones, the same sound going, we can hear each other in the headphones, and you can also hear stuff like the music y'all heard coming in, and some other stuff. They're
very futuristic.
But yeah, it's fun.
They're very Tron-like.
Yeah,
I like these.
It's fun being in the studio and kicking it.
Oh,
We're glad to have you here, buddy.
Thank you. This is awesome. Truly awesome.
Right off the bat, we've got a bunch of stuff to cover. And go ahead, start it off, Machine.
Okay, so we wanted to do a intro with Ross real quick to get you all up to date on why we brought him in as our first guest. And I'll do what I know about Ross real quick before he does his own personal intro. So we know each other from conventions, right?
Correct.
From SGC, from Retropalooza. I remember that you were like,
and
hey,
Facebook.
Man, yeah. Hey, reached out to me. Hey, I'm going to these conventions. Hey, I checked out your YouTube stuff. And we started hanging out at conventions, and it was a lot of fun. And I think we did. Y'all been game hunting before and some other stuff, but it's basically another member of the community that we've always been cool with at these conventions and had a good time with and had partying.
Well, when it comes to people from Texas, guys from Texas, especially video game players, it's kind of like I kind of seek y'all out. I try to find people that I know that are within town or kind of around town that I could possibly play not only video games with, but see in real life. So when I first started watching your things, and of course I remember the Pac-Man, and your videos were always so cool. You did it in like a closet or something, but it always had it was perfect. It was real fun stuff, and I was like, I like this guy, big Spurs fan, all that stuff. And then I was really excited to meet you finally at Retropalooza 2. That was
the first time. That was Retropalooza 2? It was 1. I think it was 1.
No, I never made it to the first Retropalooza.
No,
but
I was at
SGC. Okay, so I saw you there.
We did the interview.
We might have run. I did interviews that year.
You did interviews.
2013?
You did definitely. I got that.
I still haven't edited those
that
things.
plane that hit me in the shoulder.
Video of that.
You're horrible.
Those will go to my grave. So
there's
whatever.
literally one video where you ask the first question.
It hits you in the
"How are doing? How's everyone? How are you doing?" Is that what you asked everybody? You went through the line, and it comes to me, and I'm like, I'm awesome. And then the plane hit me.
Yeah, some kid threw a paper plane, and it just flew up into the air and landed on my shoulder, my head, your head.
It hit right into it.
It was so weird, and it was like the weirdest clip, and I watched it back. I had a terrible camera at that time, and
comedic.
It was
timing.
I laughed so hard, and I even put on Twitter. I was like, "This is the funniest moment I've ever come across in my editing." Like, it was so genuine, but it was just weird physics, and it was hilarious. Anyway, Richard, how do you know Ross?
I know Ross as a staple at all the conventions. Like, that's where I first met Ross. Ross actually came up to me one time, and I think it was the SGC 2012 or 13.
I think it was 13. I didn't make it to 12.
Okay, so then
13
it was
at the Hyatt.
Right. I saw you because I was with the Game Chasers. We just left their panel, and then you caught up to them to give them like a bag of like items that and then that's where I first saw you. I didn't know
good
who
memory.
you. I don't remember who you. I didn't know who you were. I just knew that you were a fan that gave Billy and Jay some items. So then after that, I saw you at other places, like at Retropalooza 2, and then I saw you at the next SGC, and then that's when you started getting a hold of me, you know, like, hey, man, come out, because I think you wanted us to go out and eat somewhere.
I did. I was working at this very famous restaurant here in San Antonio, and I invited you and Epic Eric to come out for lunch, and then unfortunately we got so busy that day, y'all couldn't make it out.
I called you one day.
You did. You actually called me out of the blue. I was super excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a fan, and I'm hearing from Mr. OK Chief 420 right here, you know, and I was super, super excited, but it didn't pan out. So I was like, well, I'm going to see him again somewhere. And then I would see you, postings when you're game hunting, and of course you frequent a lot of the
San Antonio areas,
a lot of the same Goodwills.
Right.
You know, you have your own little, what do they call it, path or a route that you do of what Goodwills you're going to hit up, half price, stuff like that. And I was noticing them at the same ones. You know, I was like, hey, that's the Bulverde store. Or, hey, that's 281.
You do the same thing with me too. You would be like, dude, you're at the 410 one, or go downtown, check out the Commerce Street one, or something like that. And
that's where I found out. I find out a lot about it because he would tell me like, hey man, this because what you don't know about Ross is a huge VHS collector. He loves and that's what he frequents Goodwill. He's not competition game wise.
No, not at all.
He is a movie person. So what Ross does is check out. I mean, since he's at Goodwill, he's gonna check out the games, and if there's anything good there, he'll give us a heads up. Like, yo, there was a lot of games over at this Goodwill, and that's when I was like, man, this dude's solid, man. He's giving us like, you know, tips on where to go, you know, and that was really cool of him. And that's where we first started going out,
hooking up regularly out here in the San Antonio area. But I remember I was on the lookout for you for a Laserdisc player.
That's right. And I never got it, but I've downsized so much in my life right now. Like I don't have a place for it. I just made a run to the storage unit to put a whole bunch of stuff away. Like we're living in a smaller size apartment, and as a married couple who's been together for like 5 years, like I'm so out of space at this point. It's ridiculous. Like I finally cleared out this room. Y'all can see it's much different setup.
And for Richard, I was looking definitely for games. And I remember I hit you up one time to let you know that I found a Teddy Ruxpin.
Yes, I remember
at the Bidders one. I said, hey, look what I found. I saw
one of those too, yeah.
And, you know, I was out there. And actually, that was the day I believe I found the Gremlins on VHS that I gave to Billy at this last Retropalooza.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, that's our experience with our friend Ross Boss here.
So Ross, give us your background. What do you want to share with the crew?
Well, you know, I've been a gamer, of course, all my life, and you know, every system that's come out, I kind of grew up. First, I still wish I could find this picture of me at Christmas getting an Atari 2600.
Oh, that must have been cool.
And the table's covered with Atari 2600 games.
Wow.
But of course, I played, you know, through the Nintendo, the Genesis. I remember buying a Genesis with a buddy. You know how you get that friend and you're like, okay, we're going to go in together on a video game system or something like that. You know, 1 week at your house, 1 week at my house kind of thing. And we did the Genesis. We weren't Super Nintendo we did Nintendo, but weren't Super Nintendo guys. We were Genesis guys.
So you were a Genesis kid.
We were definitely a Genesis kid. And when Sega CD came out, my friend was one of the kids that got it on that Christmas morning. And by January 1st, we cleaned out all of Blockbuster's Sega CD games. We played every single one as far as we could. Because, of course, it's Sega CD. I'm also, from San Antonio, and
he's a game wrecker. Tell him about that.
The game wrecker is if there's a game, of course I'm gonna take it to the end. Feels good to beat it. Game wreckers. You know, a lot of people will play a game for about a mission or two, something like that, and they'll be like, and they're like, all right, I'm done with it. No, if I get a game, I'm taking it to the end. Hopefully, I can like in PlayStation, of course, you can get trophies. Hopefully, I can platinum that game. That's what I really go for, and that's
he is a platinum hunter, guys.
And that is what I wreck a game.
Nice.
And you play a lot of PS4.
I play a ton of PS4. I'm a Sony guy. I just have a Xbox at one point in time. But of course, I am a Sony guy, and I play a ton of GTA. I have a lot of fun with that.
Oh, wait. And if you're going to go into getting into that topic, that's our first topic.
Ooh, we got to
games
play sometime. We got to play sometime.
You'll
for
love
sure.
it. You'll love
that sounds
it.
fun. I love GTA Online. I have a big crew that plays, but none of them play anymore.
You don't have no idea how much you played. That shit is so much fun.
You have PS4? Do you play
played
online?
with me. I got him the game.
Okay,
and
I'll play together with
I got him some money. I got him an apartment. Nice place.
It's pretty dope.
That house out in the hills.